In last week's video, you saw me fight my way through an unfortunately severe case of altitude sickness while I was stuck on the border between Peru and Bolivia after being denied entrance into Bolivia for being a big dummy dum-dum. Who the f*** are you? Thinking I could just waltz right through into Bolivia without getting a visa. Boy, did I feel stupid there. Well anyways, did I make it into Bolivia to continue on to the world's largest train cemetery? Or was I banished to the lands of Peru for an endless eternity? If the video title didn't give it away, here's what happened. I got the damn visa friggin' approved, and I wanted to go do the friggin' payment because it's $160, and none of the goddamn cards I have work. I've been to 30 countries and they work in every single country, but for some reason their payment system doesn't want to accept any of my credit cards or debit cards. So now I have to go across the border back to Peru after my visa was approved just to take money out of ATM. That's $160 for the visa. So what a crock this day has become. Well, I'm working around all the goddamn money places, but all the money places need actual money, not ATMs. And there are no ATMs here because they only exchange cash for cash. None of these places have one. This is just f***ing me. Imagine all of this, going through all of this, getting the visa approved, just to not have enough f***ing cash to make this f***ing stupid payment. One of the ladies at the shop just pointed me to where, or at least she gave me the name for a store that she said might have an ATM, or at least that is what I was able to gain from my broken Spanish. God, it better be it. I need to be in La Paz in like 2 hours before I miss that stupid bus. God damn it, this is so f***ing, what a miserable, just misery this is. Well, turns out I wasn't actually able to withdraw any money from the ATMs in Peru, so I walked all the way back to the border right before they closed for the night, and by a complete and total miracle at the literal last possible second, their payment systems randomly decided to work and accepted one of my credit cards. So I paid the $160 visa fee and was then very quickly off to find some very quick transport to the capital of La Paz so I wouldn't miss my bus to the train cemetery leaving from La Paz that night. Gracias.
Sí, acá trae tres.
Necesito taxi para La Paz.
Ahí te va a dejar. Un taxi. Yo voy contratando. Vas a venir despacio.
I have no clue what's happening right now. I'm just going with the flow. I got the stamp though. I got the f***ing visa. And I have like 2.5 hours to get somewhere that's gonna take me 2.5 hours to get there. It's about 110 kilometers away. My bus leaves at 10 p.m. It's like 7:20 right now. For some reason, all the cards, like the 6 credit cards and debit cards that I had, didn't work. And then all of a sudden, it did work randomly the f***ing last time. I got the receipt, got it paid, I'm on my way. What a f***ing hassle of a show this was. Oh my God. Oh, pain and suffering. Cerca del centro, aquí,
Ya, sí.
rojo.
¿Sabes? ¿Te puedo dejar en la autopista?
¿Cuántos tiempo?
Hora y media está ahí.
¿Qué?
Hora y media está ahí.
Ok. ¿Ahora?
Ahorita yendo es hora y media, yo te despacho uno igualito que llega al centro.
90 minutos, ¿sí?
Claro, 90 minutos.
Ok,
Sí.
¿yo puedo ir?
Claro.
Okay. This is chaos entirely. ¿Vas a La Paz? Cerca del centro
Aquí, el taxi.
rojo. Aeropuerto aquí, pero necesito ir a... Yo puedo tomar un taxi, otro taxi. ¿Tú vas a La Paz ahora?
Sí.
Ok. ¿Cuántas gasta?
Ya no ya. 20 pesos.
¿20?
Sí.
20 bolivianos.
Bolivianos.
0 bolivianos.
Sí.
Ok. Oh, gracias, señor. Oh my God. Oh, muchas gracias, God. Qué noche horrible. So, a little update, I guess. We were cutting it real close on the time on the minibus, the shared bus, whatever, from the border to La Paz. I made it to La Paz, so to make a long story short, I have a little bit more time than what I thought. I should be able to make this bus. But this is the absolute worst that I have felt, like, physically in my entire life. And I've been in the Army almost 5 years and I've done some very miserable, long-winded things. And this is by far just the absolute worst I felt. I threw up on the friggin' van on the way here. I feel like throwing up again now. This is just miserable. This would be the third night that I haven't slept at all, not even an ounce. I can't sleep, I can't stay up. Everything friggin' hurts. So, checking in with y'all when we get on the bus. Well, just an update, viewers. We have arrived in the city of Uyuni after only about 7 hours. Right now the plan is to find the hotel I'm staying at. It's about 7 in the morning right now, maybe a little bit after. So I'm gonna see if it's possible to check in a few hours early and just go to bed. I'm just too tired to do anything today. I came across this really, really cool, looks like a monument of some sorts up here. And I see a big crew-served machine gun. I'm willing to bet this is some sort of military monument, obviously. Although I am in no condition to explore this right now, so we will take a look at it later. But I will mark it. I think it's cool. Good old Green Army men. Hello from the next day here in Uyuni. I've spent the better part of the last 24 to 30 hours or so just resting and catching up on sleep. Kind of wanted to introduce you to the room that I have here. This is what $15 a night gets you in Uyuni. We have this beautiful, dirty, well messy, not dirty but messy, 2 single beds here, followed by this decent dresser. And you get a pretty decent view of the street here. Although all day there have been parades and marches and a whole lot of stuff going on. My resting today was disturbed by the very loud sound of like a marching band playing. I really hope this music isn't copyrighted on YouTube. I swear, I think I've run into the wildest things in some of these places. So one of the cool things about visiting these kind of, I wouldn't consider this really a faraway place, but places outside the U.S. is that you get to see these really cool vehicles that you really don't see in the U.S. much at all. So this looks like a, oh, don't kill me here, like a mid to late 70s. Even early 70s Toyota. It almost looks like a Land Cruiser, but it's got a pickup bed. At least in the U.S. today, people buy trucks just because they're big and they look pretty. So kind of cool to see something like this. Really old, and this thing's probably 50 years old or more. And it looks like it's in really good condition too. Really good paint. So kind of cool looking. Something that's really been irking me since I got down here was the lack of ease with which to exchange dollars into the local currency, which is Bolivianos. And they're saying they can't do it because the bills are not perfect. On this 20 right here, they're saying that like this tiny thing up here is preventing me from being able to exchange it. Like you can't even see the tear. You can't even see the tear and they keep saying no. So that's really irritating. I've never been to a place where they wanted like crisp, clear, picture perfect bills, but I guess we finally found that place. However, regardless of that, I cannot let that stop us from seeing and doing the cool things that we can see and do here in Bolivia. So, this monument behind me is a monument for the Bolivian soldiers that died in the Chaco War, C-H-A-C-O, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. The Chaco War in the 30s. It was fought between Bolivia and Paraguay over potential oil rights in a region of Paraguay that hadn't really been explored yet, but was thought to contain a bunch of oil. And so, beginning in September of 1932, Bolivia started some unfortunate hostilities over in Paraguay, about maybe 800 kilometers or so east of where we are here. Quite a bit of casualties. There were about 65,000 Bolivian soldiers killed, and another 35,000 or so soldiers from Paraguay that were also killed. Most of the deaths were on the Bolivian side, about 2/3 of them. And this monument right here is to commemorate them and their lives and the sacrifices they gave for their nation, regardless of what you think of any conflict. You know, they volunteered, and 65,000 of them paid the price, unfortunately. ¿Este lugar es restricto para el gente?
Prohibida entrar.
Oh, ok. ¿Tú eres en militar aquí? Oh, ok. Navy, Army. Yo veo monumento para guerra del Chaco. Yo no conozco sobre esta guerra, pero quiero saber para la gente en Bolivia. Es un grande guerra importante para la historia. No. Well, I tried talking to those guys, but they didn't seem too enthused to be talking to a foreigner. So I guess I'll just let them be. Well, after being here for a day and a half now, I think I have finally come across the train tracks where all of the abandoned rail cars will be, even though they aren't right specifically here. So right here is where the train line runs from outside of Uyuni directly into Uyuni, right down there. What's really interesting about these old railroad lines is that they were initially constructed in the late 1800s to help move minerals and other valuable raw materials from different places in Bolivia at the time to and through Uyuni, including Antofagasta, which actually used to be under Bolivia's control, which gave them access to the coastline, of the Pacific Ocean. However, after a war between Chile and Peru and Bolivia that ended in 1884, Bolivia eventually seceded most of the land, actually all of the land, around Antofagasta, including Antofagasta itself, back to Chile in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship in 1804. After that treaty was signed in 1904, the minerals stopped flowing through Uyuni here. And because of that, the trains that were initially sent here to get repaired were sent here and never left, which is why there are about 100 trains that are sitting way down at the end of that, which I will be visiting tomorrow. Bolivia has had quite a bit of territorial disputes with its neighbors over the last, well, not the last few years, but from the 1800s up through the early 1900s. And because of these territorial disputes over many decades, Bolivia has lost quite a bit of land to its neighbors of Paraguay, Chile, and Brazil, to name a few. And they just lost a little bit here and there over time, which has landed it to its current size, which is actually still pretty large, but yeah, interesting place for sure. This must have been a pathway right here to get over the trains when they were parked here, assumedly, 100 years ago. Actually, more than 100 years ago, excuse me. 120, 130, 40 years ago. There probably would have been a crap ton of trains here that were just waiting either to drop off minerals, fix them up, or wait for repairs. It looks like a big train depot right in there because the train lines go in and then they fan out to the different sides, just up there on the other side of the blue metal gate there. And right in here is all of like downtown Centro Uyuni, and then reverse is where the train line would have come in all the way from Antofagasta way down there. So that's where we're going tomorrow. It's a few kilometers out from the main part of the town here. Well, good morning, viewers. In the beautiful morning sunlight of Uyuni. Today we are doing we have a little bit of an early start. We can get down to the cemetery, the train cemetery that I've spent 4 days trying to get to now. Yesterday, these streets were packed. I mean, these things were crowded. You got kids and teachers and parents and every which one of the other wandering all around the streets yesterday. And now it's minus a few guys running around in uniform. Is completely desolate for the most part. Run, Forrest, run, run! We're at the outskirts of town here, about maybe a kilometer or two from the train cemetery. And if this does not look like rural South America to you, then I'm not really sure what does. You got these old brick construction buildings here with dirt roads running both directions, and these long, wide roads with no one on them, and stray dogs running amok and trash on the ground. This is a pretty obvious sign that you are in a very rural part of South America. This is some very, very old construction right here. These old, like, bricks. They almost sound hollow. I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds very hollow in there. You can see the remnants of what used to be, what I assume is the main entrance, or what used to be the main entrance of whatever this place is here. And, well, I think it's seen better days, even though the frame is still there and the actual doors appear to actually still be intact here. Yeah. I don't know, what was this place? Train depot or residence? Probably a little bit too big for residence. Maybe a manufacturing, holding place, a warehouse, something like that. Gentleman over there seems to be burning quite a bit of trash. There seems to be a lot of here. There's bags and stuff, crap all over the place here. And just over here, like right over here, is this huge pit of trash. It runs the whole length of the side of the train tracks here. Buenas mañanas, señor. Yeah. I'm not sure if you can see it way in the distance here. I'll give a zoom. But these tracks right in front of me here split off, and you can see way in the distance there, and by way in the distance I mean like 300 yards, 400 yards, the old trains. And here we've seen some weary travelers that unfortunately have not made it all the way to the train cemetery, and they have made it their cemetery. What is this? Oh my God, we finally arrived. After how many days of miserable travel to get here, we have finally arrived to the Uyuni salt flats, but more specifically, the train cemetery. Wow. Wow, so I bet initially I bet these first few train cars here used to be box cars maybe, and they had presumably pieces of wood in between the different metal frames here that is just rotted away over the last 100 years or so. Same thing with the ones down here. Certainly looks like they've seen better days. In fact, that might be like an oil tanker right there. Now, what do you reckon this piece of machinery or equipment here was used for? You got these big bolt holes right here. I wonder if it was used to maybe couple train cars together. The part where the actual wheels hang off of right here, maybe. I don't know. I'm very ignorant about train parts. Maybe some of you in the comments can help me out. I have no knowledge on train parts, but this is new to me. Well, here's one train car that doesn't seem to have completely dilapidated. I hesitate to touch some of this metal here. Ooh. Let's explore this a little bit. Without getting hurt would be ideal. Looks like this thing was maybe split into two parts. The part that I'm in here, and then maybe the next part just on the other side of this barrier here. Although I'm not sure I can fit through that gap. Ugh. To think that this area right here in Uyuni used to be a major train hub for the transport of very valuable raw earth minerals all the way over from present day Chile, but what used to be under the control of Bolivia in the mines outside of Antofagasta in present day Chile. And after the War of the Pacific kind of officially ended in 1844, Bolivia seceded the coastal regions of what is now present day part of the northern part of Chile around Antofagasta. In 1904 they seceded that to Chile, and so Chile took control of the mines and thus ended any raw material exports or transport here to Uyuni. And thus the majority of these train cars here have probably been here minimum of 100 years. Probably some of these 110, 120, even 130 years. See, I knew it was a part with the wheels. So the part I was looking at earlier was definitely used for I'm assuming you call them train wheels. I don't know why they would be called anything different. But yeah, that's like the axle right there. And the wheels on each side would be attached with, got these massive bolts right here. So I was right. It was a big piece to hold all the wheels together. Hey, I think this is a caboose here.
How about I take you to the back of the train? You can show me your caboose.
Apparently, Uyuni here used to be a place where train cars and locomotives and such would be sent for repairs and maintenance and such. And I think the reason that a lot of well, there's so many here, there's so many cars, train cars, over 100 of them, is because when the mineral trade and the mining died down, they didn't have anywhere to send these rail cars, so they sent them here for repairs, and they just ended up kind of dying here indefinitely. Down at the southern end of the cemetery is where all of the locomotives are. So the last like kilometer and a half that we just walked was all like the box cars, some of like the actual rail cars, the things that the actual like materials or whatever was being transported in. And then right here are all of the locomotives. You can definitely tell these things have been here a long time. These wheels don't just fall into the dirt that easily on all the different axles here. I think a lot of the trains, or at least the locomotives that were brought here, were actually from the United Kingdom. They came from Britain. So they have a very British style to it. At any rate, it's really interesting. Yeah, look how deep the wheel, look how deep this wheel has sunk. I mean, that's more than halfway under the dirt there. Less than half of that is sticking up. Oh, hey, check this thing out. I think this is right here on the back of the locomotive, And I'm fairly certain this is where the conductors or the train operators would put the coal in order to burn it. I think they would shovel the coal right into this hole right here, and the coal in there would burn, and I believe it would generate steam, which would then power the locomotive to move the train and the train cars forward. I might be entirely wrong, but that's certainly what it looks like. And then just opposite the locomotive here, you've got some really, really unique artwork on the back of this locomotive. Let's see if I can get a better angle without the sun. You got some really, really detailed stuff right up in here, very symmetrical. Someone definitely spent a lot of time to make that what it is. We're gonna see what it's like up in one of these train cabs here. Oh man, this thing is really rickety. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, no, this is definitely the furnace that I was talking about, where the train conductors would stuff all the coal and it would burn and give power. Although now it's just full of trash. So the front of the caboose, Jesus, the front of the engine is that way. So the conductor would sit here and look out through the windows here to kind of see where they were going. Probably had a crew of more than one. Probably at least 2 guys up in here. Could you imagine just shoveling coal into this furnace all day? Oh man. I should definitely not be going down this the front ways, but alas, here we go. I think that is going to do it for us here, down in the train cemetery of Central Bolivia. If you guys are interested in more content of this nature, visiting interesting faraway places, kind of looking at old abandoned places, then follow me at The Go Man here on YouTube. And you'll continue to see these wild and crazy adventures of visiting these very faraway places. Until next time, I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.